Hey guys, Mike here. So another interesting day in the market with a nice bounce in the market, which we had talked about. Could get a bounce. A lot of things are in these like bounce type areas. They want to do that. And plus we had talked about the futures, right? So I'll kind of go over that chart with you. And we had the Apple, iPhone event, which of course what happened, people realized, hey, look, it's the same iPhone with a better camera. Yay, sounds good. And so that stuff, I don't know if you guys still watch that or not, but it's nothing major there. I will go over one new addition they put on the phone, which people made a big deal about, and I don't understand why, because I'm not sure how many times in your lifetime you actually use it, but we'll find out. But I'll keep this video shorter than the usual ones for you, because no news days is today and tomorrow, and then no real kind of earnings. I mean, Oracle did good; it's up. It made a partnership with Amazon, blah blah blah. So that's good. So that's a good one there, but nothing earth-shattering is going to happen on news and earnings this week. But the two things I thought I wanted to start off with was, one, I saw this meme today, and I mean, how true is this, man? Let me know in the comments. It's like how I dreamed of $1 million home when I was a kid, right? And it's just gorgeous. You go, oh, that's about right, And then you scroll down, and reality sets in. You're like, oh, nope, that right there is actually $1 million home. And this is true because that's probably the state of Florida right there. I've seen many homes like this, and that's usually right there on the water. But even ones that are on the water are still sitting there $750,000, $1 million, up to $1 million. And so that's what the new $1 million home actually looks like. Let me know if you've been house shopping and have noticed that. And the other one was this Apple feature right here. It says iPhone will be able to share live video with 911 dispatchers. And I'm like, that's great. I love the feature, but how many times in your life have you called 911? I've called them once in my entire life. I'm just curious. So, I mean, I love the feature, but how many times will you actually be using that feature is what I want to know. People are like, oh, that's fantastic. It's awesome. Yeah, sure. It's great. But I hope you ain't calling 911 that much. You got a very interesting life if you are, I guess. But anyway, just want to ask and get your input on that. And what was your coolest feature, the feature you really loved the most that they actually rolled out that makes it worth buying the new phone? I'm curious. Now, this is what we talked about. I put this in a Saturday video about the NASDAQ futures, where we could possibly go, and then we'll talk about where we've gone and where we're heading next. There is definitely some fair value gaps down there, liquidity to be had, and so we're going to mark those out right there. And there's a couple ones if it wants to continue to do this or pull down for the rest of the day. And then I think it's like, I'm literally recording it's like 3 o'clock on Friday, unless we have some miraculous recovery, which I don't think we will. Then we should be maybe trading down here either after hours or going Sunday when the market opens. We are at a discount, okay? So don't be surprised if you finally get to see a bounce here, because people love to buy at a discount. And I know a lot of people that are doing it right now personally. And of course, we can look, that's pretty much what they did. They sold us down into that first shaded box right there Friday night. And then, of course, again, we were already in the discount. We were below the golden pocket area. Got a nice little V shape up here, recovery. Again, I'm not saying I personally don't like to buy in this range, but a lot of people, once you get the golden pocket, between the golden pocket and 0.79 fib, because you guys are asking about this, they don't worry about a sniper entry, as they call it. They just start buying in the range because they know the odds are very heavily in their favor that they're going to get a really nice bounce. Now, how high is that bounce? That's different. So if they buy golden pocket area, the golden pocket area, they're going to start averaging down at 0.79 area. Okay, just that's kind of how they do it, or in between somewhere in there. And so I got a bunch of questions about that. Now, one thing you notice here is this trend line, which I think I added in there for you. And you can see that we got multiple rejections as we were moving down from September 3rd on down, right, on higher time frames. Multiple rejections a day. When we got this rally going up, that's what happened. We hit that trend line, we bounced down. And as I was recording this earlier for you, I was like, hey, when we get above that, we'll probably have a really nice move above it for sure, because we're breaking that trend line going up and everything after getting a nice bounce, after coming in, taking a nice bit of liquidity and everything like that. And so we'll see if we get kind of like this right here going on. We get into like, basically a buyer's model, which I'll go over in just a second. And then you just start marking out these levels right here, okay? And once you start breaking one level, then two levels, then you start to know, okay, yeah, we're in a buyer's mode here, okay? So you got your seller's model, your buyer's model, all that fun stuff. So I'll put that on here for now. We'll see, where we go, because that'll put us up, almost 2% really. So that would be a nice bigger rally going up right there, as you can see. So we'll see if we can get through those two levels, and we'll see what they do overnight to us. Right now, they are really pushing the futures up as I'm recording this. And so, really what you're looking at right now, we've been doing this. So we'll see if maybe we come down. We may not. We may just break through, and then we'll move up right here. And, when I look at this, you can see over here, I remember I did a video on this for you guys where I said, they're trying to put us into, obviously, a buyer's model here, because we were in a sell model, and then it went up much faster than I thought it would. But that's exactly what they were trying to do. I mean, that's how the market moves, right? You get a point in time where you just don't have any sellers anymore, and so they have to flip it and get people to start buying back in, and then go back into a sell model. All right, and so we'll see if we're trying to go into a buy model. Again, this right here, I had to go back and add this in the last 5 minutes of the day. Is what happens. Look at this. They drove us up almost 0.5%. It's actually higher than that now. It's actually up almost 0.75% after about like 10 minutes after close. And so they made it above that trend line on the higher time frames we talked about. So when we look at that, we are green moving up right there. We'll see if they're going to continue to shove this thing up overnight. And so that's what we'll pay attention to for sure. Let me know what you think on that, especially if you trade futures and everything. But I'll be watching that to see where we open up tomorrow, because again, there's no news or earnings to derail anything if they want to try that. And you saw how kind of crazy it was today with the moves they made. Now, when you look at SPY, what's going to happen? We're going to have to test this 50, see if we get rejected right there. That's what we're going to have to see, okay? And again, that's like the weekly and daily level right there, so you don't want to go below that right there. And so, we'll see if that's going to be the case now. If we break above it, guess what? That's bullish, and we might just gap above it. If they start pushing us up overnight and we open up, obviously way up in the morning, then they'll just gap us above it. Okay, I think we saw that last time. You look to the left right there. And so if that happens, we got liquidity right there above between 554, 556 to run into. You look at the Qs, this right here, and both of these are this way. They're still on below a 5-day moving average, a declining 5-day moving average, that is. You look at the SPX, same way. So, everything's guilty, and that's where it rejected today. It hit that 5-day moving average and rejected off of it and didn't get back to it today, okay? So everything is guilty until we get above that. That's like the first test and first thing you want to do. So you got the 5-day moving average, you got your 50 moving average on SPX. So watch those levels. If it gets above them, that is a bullish thing, okay? Now, what's going to be the key to this whole thing, because the S&P has been leading Qs because tech's been under heavy pressure, right, is RSP. It's in this level. It bounced today, so it's in a level that has been known to be support and area of interest, all that fun stuff. And so if this starts to move back up, okay, you don't even have to get to all-time highs, then guess where the S&P is going? All right, we're definitely getting above the 50, the 5-day moving average, and all that. But if we get the sell down, well, whole different story. So it depends on RSP to move it, not the big Mag 7 and all that fun stuff to do this stuff. Because you can see all these other sectors I showed you are hitting all-time highs or near all-time highs. All right, so they've kind of left tech behind in the dust at this point in time. The other thing is the market structure, right? S&P, double top, RSP, another all-time high or a higher high. Okay, so different market structure going on, much more bullish market structure on the RSP for now. And so that's why you want to keep an eye on that. I'll take that away real quick. And the other thing to look at is, you see what happened today, right? Everything was green first of all, and it wasn't even a 3% day, okay? It wasn't one of these crazy days. But you saw travel, and then some people started buying up because the semiconductors have been just absolutely trashed. Big tech did, fintech, but it's everything across the board. But you see, financials looking good. Always watch the financials. Okay, I said a few weeks ago or a month ago, whatever it was. If the financials are good and they just keep going up and up and up, that's not a bearish thing, right? The defensives, still were up today, but they took a back seat to the other areas that have been getting beat down and stuff. But one thing that is going on, which is very strange, and you don't know if this is just because Walmart has gone into every single town and city now, but normally what you would see, even if you were anywhere near recession, you would see discount stores going up. But what did you see today? Big Lots filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy. That's what happened. And then you got Dollar Tree down massive, right? Dollar General, 5 and below. Like all these discount stores are just getting crushed. I mean, some of them are down 80%, which is just crazy. And so it's just one of those things where you're like, is it the times? Is it the fact that Walmart and Target have gone into all these towns and all these cities now, and they're just ran much better, and people prefer to shop there, and the other companies are just ran very badly? Is that what's happening, right? And so I don't know. Let me know what you think down in the comments, because normally those would have been areas like, oh, you go, that's good defensive area there. If people are so bad off, they'll start doing discount stores, and it's like, nope. Now I do know Dollar Tree and Dollar General ran horribly. You don't put a store on every block and expect good things, and so that is bad. But let me know what you think down in the comments. Curious to get your opinion. Now QQEW, as you can see, that ain't a new high, right? What is happening? You're seeing this on a lot of charts. All it's doing is setting lower highs and higher lows, which means it's wedging, which means it's in a triangle, which means it can break either way, right? But it's at the bottom of this trend line here, right? So you expect to bounce. It got its bounce, okay? So you don't want to see it fall out of this, okay? So we could start heading to the top. Again, tech is not out of the woods until you start seeing major levels start to be broke and held up, okay? IWM we talked about in yesterday's video, right? It's another one. In a triangle, set at the bottom. Guess what? Got its bounce, okay? So that's what happened today. It wasn't great. Wasn't as good as the Qs. Wasn't as good as S&P 500. And we'll take that right there away because now it has filled another gap, okay? And so there's not any more gaps until pretty far down there if it continues to fall. But again, this one right here is another one because it just continued to wedge into FOMC to see what's going on next week. That's why I don't think it's an accident that a lot of these indexes and stocks are just starting to be wedged and putting these triangle formations. And what's amazing to me, I saw this chart today, when people say how bad things are, like, look at this small business funding rate, highest in 22 years. And this is the U.S. prime rate in real term. They figured this out by adjusting for inflation, all kinds of stuff. But it's bigger in the 07 time frame. And bankruptcies are up. But as far as numbers are concerned, when it comes to small businesses, they're nowhere close to where they were in 2019. And that's what's really amazing to me about it. And yes, they're up, but nowhere near as bad as they were in 2019. But again, I don't know how they've held up this much. I guess unless you know all the help the small businesses and with loans and everything else got, and people shopping at these companies and everything else to hold them up, because that's just amazing to have that chart up there and see the bankruptcies by number are less than they were in 2019. Okay. Now, Palantir, of course, another big day. We talked about this one. If it goes back down, look at that little shaded area, but it was holding support. Again, that inclusion, you're talking about a bunch of shares are going to be bought up to put into all those ETFs that the S&P has. And this normally happens to stocks, right? As soon as they get the news, you get a nice pop up. The question is, will they hold it, right? You see that volume bar down there? Just a massive volume spike down there. And so, looking back in the past of when it's done this and stuff, you can see clearly that a lot of times, whether it was news or not, it ends up selling back down or whatever. But, we'll see if this is going to be the time, because this could be a multi-day deal here, even though that is it was up almost like 10% at some point in time today. And, again, normally sells down. There's one where you see it doing multi-day. I can't remember. Well, I think it had to be earnings. Yeah, it was earnings. So, you can see it continue to go up because now it's broke that trend line, right? It's been sitting in that channel for quite a long time. And when you look what's above it going back to the left, not much resistance, right? This is a weekly chart, but again, that's back when it was fairly new, right? And so 35, 62, 38, and then 45 really are the levels to watch more than anything else. And so what you'd like to see is really maybe come back down, test that trend line, turn it into support, since it was resistance for quite a while, and then bounce from there. That would be a good move. And then normally what happens is when they start trading on the index sometimes, like you did with the SMCI and a couple others, they'll start to sell back down because they've had such a big move up, right? It's no different when they announce the stock split, it goes up, and then when they do the stock split, normally you'll get a sell-off, right, because it's ran up so much. Now, earnings, you'll have Academy in the morning, then GameStop, and then Dave & Buster's, and then Petco going on. No kind of news to even worry about tomorrow, so don't even sweat that at all. So we'll see if they're going to continue to push this up overnight, and then in the morning we'll see if we gap up. One thing is definitely for sure is going to be extremely volatile. We saw some big swings today, guys. So let me know what you think in the bottom. Please hit that like and subscribe button on the way out. As usual, feel free to sign up for the membership. You see everything you get right there. I really appreciate all you guys for your support and stuff, and hopefully you're getting everything you want out of that. So just let me know if there's anything you'd like me to add. That's why this basically this morning brief's gotten so long, because people want other stuff added, and so it is very detailed. So anyway, hope you guys got something out of it, and I'll see you guys tomorrow.